If I disappear, just wait till I get. Just carry on.
Okay. Then we'll just
It's the story of my life. I'm gone.
Okay. We're
All
not
right,
there
it's
yet.
on.
I don't. Is it on? I can't see it on
Yeah,
Facebook
it says
yet.
it's live. So it will probably, if you refresh, just keep refreshing and it should come
Let
up.
me go out and come back in. You know, it is always so fun and games to just make sure we are.
You see, with the Amaya, is it Dr. Amaya or just Amaya? So
you can, either way is fine.
Either way.
I'm very rude.
It's always this challenge. Yeah. Because the two of us are technologically challenged, and then we've got all the gremlins that creep in as well. So yeah, life is very interesting here.
I can see that. Yeah, it's all an adventure. I mean, it's not that insane.
We're always thinking on our feet. It's like the one thing. Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, good guys. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Pawz People. Thank you so much for bearing with the two aunties and the technologically impaired struggles every week, but that's what makes it interesting. It makes our lives quite interesting. Tonight is one of those evenings that I've been looking forward quite a lot, and I'm very excited because tonight we've got the privilege to hosting somebody that for me is really inspiring, especially when you hear her passion about cats and cats' health. So Dr. Amaya Espíndola, am I pronouncing it correctly?
Yeah, I mean, it depends if you have it. The Spanish name has a accent on the I, so it would be Espíndola, but it doesn't sound. It doesn't say Espíndola.
Yeah. After I'm going to get it right by September, I'll have it right.
No worries about that.
Amaya, Dr. Amaya is an integrative veterinarian, and that's special, and she's very passionate about cats and feline veterinary care. I think she brings a whole new depth into knowledge about the global perspective of real clinical experience that is both refreshing and incredibly empowering when it comes to our felines and our cats. I am not going to bore you with my talk any further. I can just say, in my eyes, she's the singing cat vet, and we will bend her arm to give us some little closure or somewhere a little taste of what she does with cats. Amaya, tell us about yourself.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. I totally look forward for this September and the conference there. And yes, my passion is cats, and if you want to look at what I do, it's all in velvet.co.uk. You can check that my approach it's very holistic, but not in the way that not just in the medical side of things. I also look in the lifestyle, and I also try to connect that with how we live and how that impacts the cat and vice versa. So I think there is a relationship building there, and we also build it with dogs, don't get me wrong, but the thing is that cats are well, especially in certain countries, it's always indoors, and we kind of changed the lifestyle of a cat. It's recommended to have the cats indoors, and that has its positives and negatives as well. So we need to understand the full picture of what we thought about what a cat was and what we think today, and how that shifted in all this time. So yeah, this is what I do. This is my passion.
I remember when I met you in October last year, one thing that first night when we had dinner, and you were telling somebody else about how you get cats to eat raw, and the way you explained it and expressed yourself, I was like, this woman is amazing, because I just steer away from cat people because they are so full of nonsense and things. And your passion really, really, really is it's energetic and contagious when it comes to that, because I came back from there and I thought totally, I want to say revived and re-energized about dealing with my cat clients. So tell us, what caused you to be more inclined towards feline health opposed to just small animal health?
That is a question, and it has a funny story, because I was afraid of cats and I was allergic to them. so that's how it started. The thing is that in the beginning, when I was almost finishing school, my idea was to work in nutrition for sport dogs. I don't know why, but I love nutrition, and I always did. But we had some specialty classes of feline medicine and all these things. And the teacher that came for feline was it was one of my best teachers ever, because he is inspiring, and the way he talks about, he looks at simplifying things and not trying to make it always so complicated. And after his class, I was like, oh my God, I forgot about cats. Cats are neglected even at school. You see cats almost as small dogs. They tell you, no, they're different, but you don't actually go deep inside, deep into their physiology and understand what they need. They are treated as small dogs, and that was at least 15 years ago. I don't know if that changed, but one of the things that made me intrigued was like, okay, I don't know anything about cats now. It's like, what is, I need to, this is going to be the 50% of my clients, and I am terrified of them. They are unpredictable. I had all these ideas in my mind that they were unpredictable, aggressive, difficult, all the things that all people say all the time, complicated. And I decided to do my residency, my practice. I decided to do it with this vet in Buenos Aires. And that is what changed my life, because he rented a room in the back of the clinic that he had for students. So I was always with the cat, with hospitalized cats and everything there. And so you can imagine my allergies, how they were. And I just simply decided to rub the cats until the allergies were gone. Now I know better, and there are better ways to do it.
Like changing their diets.
So when I noticed that if you take time, and if you are present, and you understand that they are more afraid of you, and they are trying to simply, they're struggling, but they don't understand why they were moved suddenly to get into a clinic. And if you pay attention to those details, the way you speak, the way you stand, your energy, the cats will behave. And this is what changed in my mind, because this vet had the most amazing nurses that, they were like, oh my God, he manages cats. And he used to make fun about that. He was like, well, we have this aggressive cat. You can see the cat moving in the carrier. And he kept calm all the time. And I was like, how does he do this? So not only that, after I decided to face my fears, doors started to open. And suddenly I had the chance to be the interpreter of a veterinarian that came from Texas A&M. Because my professor at that time, he was trying to do a feline specialist course and things like that, and he brought different vets from all over the world, and he needed an interpreter for this vet. And I met him, and Casualties of Life, which I don't believe they're entirely casualties, I think it was fate in a way. He lived very close from my family in Texas, so suddenly the opportunity to go to Texas A&M small animal clinic for, to practice with top level people like him. I was like, okay, I think the life is telling me something, that I might, put aside the dog's nutrition and do cats. I don't understand fully. And I had a conversation with this, his name is Dr. John August. And we had a conversation in the car, and he was like, okay, so after all this time, what do you think? And I said, look, well, I like nutrition, dog's nutrition, but I don't know. I'm not really sure. And he said, you look like a curious person, and cats will never let you down. And I was like, okay, all right. You're right. It's true. I have nothing to say for that. And that's how it started. I mean, I moved to Spain a few years later. I did a feline specialist course before my postgraduate course. And once I graduated, I started understanding cats, but this was a full process. And then in Madrid, I had the chance to work in a shelter. So I had, weird experiences because it was all coming to me. I was not, my path was not written as something that it just simply appeared. And the job in the shelter taught me a lot about behavior and a lot about, that's where I started singing to the cats and other things. And that is when I think in that cat cafe, this where the process became a passion. It took a while, but after that, I was like, okay, cats are amazing. And this is how it all went. Yeah.
Oh, that's a great story. It is really, really a great story. Personally, I'm also allergic to cats. I've been all my life. However, what I have found is that when I go and deliver to clients with cats that's on some raw or on a raw diet, I'm all of a sudden no longer allergic. So, which is a very, very interesting test that I've been doing over the years. I don't understand cats because I don't have cats. A cat won't survive in my household. I think the beagles will think it is open prey season. I can just see, even down that they're old.
We have a cat.
Oh, you do? I was thinking.
Yeah, but your cat knows.
And a cat.
And your cat is still small.
Yeah.
Huh? It's still a baby.
It's insane.
But
she's about a year old. She's a little feral cat that just moved in about a year ago. Gingy.
Oh,
yeah, ginger female, which is also special.
Yeah, they're very special. Yeah.
So I'm still learning about cats, and it's a challenge juggling big dogs and prey-driven dogs with a little cat that has got her own mind and her own ideas. And it's interesting because because she's an outside cat, but she comes inside and she's really bonded with my husband. And that's, when you mentioned about the emotions as well, and I also don't always get cats. I don't understand them, but she gets into your skin. Yeah. She's got this way about her that just kind of, okay, I need to know more. But I've read a lot of times that they say that cats come to you because there's an emotional need or void or something, and that's why they're there.
It is not simple.
But how does? Yeah,
it is not that
emotion. Go.
Oh, sorry. It is that. It's not that. It's not the emotions of void or scarcity or anything like that. Cats simply find you safe or not. So you are a person that they can feel safe around or maybe not. And the relationship starts there. And the relationship is every day. It's not like a dog has this drive, a service drive. They are always, they put forward the idea of, you are my guardian, then I'll respect you because they understand the world different. But the dog is, the cat is every day. As there, you're going to have days that you're going to be more excited and more, happy and maybe too much energy going around. That day, the cat is going to keep distance from you. And the days that you are needing something, or maybe if the cat can help you, otherwise there are cats that won't get close to you if you are sad. And sometimes when you are simply present, they are gonna be, it's like there is a boundary between us, and we'll interact if necessary or if we can get something from it. But what I like about this approach is that it's very honest, and it's something that I believe we have to do as humans, because we tend to invade, we tend to grab the cat and do because you are my cat. We have this possessive thing of this is what I want, and cats will teach you, no, this is my space, this is your space. And as long as this is respected both ways, this is going to be a good relationship. And you're going to start that the trust and the love is showed in a very subtle way. It's not going to be just, but we want that tail moving around, wiggling, and we want that happiness. We want that. So if you want that, then have a dog. Because it's not the same. You can have both of them if you want, That's, for me, they are the teachers of true love, and when I say true love, is that love of understanding your boundaries, understanding his boundaries, and start the relationship and the experience from there, right? And that's why I think they are so amazing.
That's a very good explanation, and that as all of a sudden there's lights gone on in my head now, because with that human relationship thing as well.
Yes, exactly.
Cats are so honest, and they so where we in relationships will not express ourselves, the cat actually teaches us that we need to do that. We need to express ourselves. I love that. Thank you.
Yeah. Very, very true. So what would you say is the most common mistake that cat parents make when it comes to their cats' health, emotions, overall? What is your global take on that?
If I had to choose one, that's difficult. Okay. I would say the invasion, the boundaries. I think that's the most common mistake, that we don't understand, or I think we are not able to see, even, well, I'm always thinking about indoor cats, but we can extrapolate to outdoor cats later. If you come from work and you get into your house and you directly go into, just grabbing your cat and say, hey, how are you? Come on. And that's very invasive. You're smelling different. You have an energy coming after, maybe it's exhaustion, maybe it's, that you came with shopping bags or anything, and your energy is not stable at that moment. It's like you just came home, you are feeling that release. Okay, allow that, and then you interact with the cat, but not directly from there, And people it's like, oh, but I need that. And this is when it gets complicated. And believe me, I believe in that should be applied with dogs as well. I'm making a special attention to cats because it's what I do, but I also work with a zoo anthropologist here in Spain, that he believes that we should also, besides that, despite that the dog, it has this service drive, we should respect its boundaries. So this can be applied to all animals. And when you come home or you want to pet the cat, and you suddenly have that crave of, okay, I want to pet my cat, you need to ask permission. You need to see if this is possible. And most people won't do it. They simply grab the cat or, play with the cat, but there is no communication whatsoever. And I believe that is the major problem, because you are not able to tell if there are symptoms changing. You are not able, or if you notice you worry too much. I believe there are many, I call it worried mothers, the ones that are constantly looking for changes in their cats. Or the opposite, you're negligent because you're not present. The thing is that there is no communication, and you overlook everything from that simple mistake.
Yes, it's all about being more in tune, even with our own emotions. and how what the impact that is on other humans. It's got the same impact on animals and stuff like and our cats, our dogs, even our parrots, and I think all animals in your household. So if you can get that and be more aware about your own energy that you project, and the effect that it's got on your cat, dog, husband, children, for all that matter, then we'll have a much more balanced and less chaotic life, would we not?
And it doesn't mean pretending. I wrote an article. I have a Substack as well. It's called A Voice for Cats. But I wrote an article about pretending that everything is okay. The cat knows. So you don't have to pretend that everything is okay. You have to think, okay, if I'm not okay, I'm not going to invade my cat. Just, I need a hug. No, just find something else to release that tension. And then you can have a conversation with your cat and say, look, today is not a good day. I have this crappy energy. And the cat will understand. This is the thing. I had a stressful moment the past few weeks with all my changes in life. But I always talk to my cats, and I'm always telling them, look, guys, we're gonna take on a journey. You're gonna travel for many hours. This is not gonna be comfortable. And I am just adjusting them into this new system. It relaxes me, and at the same time, I'm sending that information, that message. And this is important. Talk to your cat. Doesn't matter about what. They'll understand. If you feel like you don't have a space to express your emotions, because sometimes people, it's difficult with the communication. Talk to your cat. I know it might look crazy from the outside, but don't you worry about that.
I would be worried about it. So I mean, that pretty much is comes to my next question. With if every cat owner can change one thing starting today, what would have the biggest impact? And I think you sort of answered it.
Yeah, I mean, I will always focus on behavior first, but if you want to go deep in there, nutrition is the second thing. But they're tied together. So if you have to choose one thing, I would say behavior first, because that will make the transition easier for you. If you want to change anything, not just diet. If you want to have a new routine of taking them outside or walking with you, everything you want to educate or teach a cat, it's going to be more related to your own state of mind than and the behavior of the cat than any other technique.
Does the environment and our emotions, does that cause them illness or to get ill over time if the environment is crappy? And
Yes, it will. I find today as humans, we have a lot of chronic illnesses, and I find now many households having the guardian having the same illness than the cat, or similar, or associated to something that it's happening in the family. So psychosomatics comes very handy in this, because you can understand what emotion is going on in the family, and then it's not always going to be perfectly accurate, because the cat has his own life, and you can't ask him what's wrong with you and how was your family, like what do you know about your family tree. You cannot ask those things, but you can make assumptions according to what the energy that it's in the family, what's going on, if there are tension, if there are arguments between couples, something as simple as that, the tone of voice that you have and use if you are arguing, that makes an impact alone. And
we see it in the Ridgebacks, if with the tone of voice, if there's tension in the house, that's usually when scuffles happen, because they pick up the tension in us. That's when there's behavior kind of. So we have to, I suppose, as guardians, we have to be careful to regulate when we interact with the animals.
Yes, and you can learn also how to use your voice properly, because there is also how you express. We are very conditioned, as women, we tend to use our voice higher pitch and loud, and it sounds like a kid when they, and then if it's a man, usually it's very deep, and some cats hated it. So it depends, but our constant arguments can have an impact on health if it's continuous. Of course, if you just fight one time, it's not, we all fight, right? But it's about how, and if it's added to work, stress at work, added to all other things, if you suffer from any illnesses as well, anything will have an impact on a cat, especially if it's indoor. If it has access to outdoors, the picture changes.
Got a little bit of a release.
Exactly. They can sunlight, exposure to the microbiome outside, all those things can help the cat to release. Yes. That's why I'm not so in favor of the indoor cat situation, though some places it's impossible, like where I live now.
Yeah. I see we've got a question here. So I'm quickly going to interrupt and say that. So the question is, do you think it may be a bit different if the cat is part of a dog family? When it comes to when I come home, my 18-year-old cat and the 2 German shepherds come welcoming me to see where I've been. But my cat is definitely more choosy when she allows interaction.
Well, it's not how they behave. It may be different, but that doesn't excuse you, as your energy is still agitated. So my cats also come to the door, and I don't have any dogs, but sometimes I come and I leave a box near the entrance, because one of my cats, I'm sure if I leave for many hours, it's going to be there sleeping, waiting for me. So that they are going to be there waiting and happy to see me, but I'm not going to touch them. I'm going to say, hello, how are you guys? Let's see if you've been fed properly. What do you need? Is it water? I talk to them a lot. And then when I'm, settled, I sit down on my couch, and then I go and say, hey guys, and they will come alone. Not just when I cross the door.
Okay. That is very, very, very interesting. It's really, really, really interesting. I feel like I thought I knew a lot, but I realize I don't know anything at all.
We do our best. Just remember that. We do our best, because a few years ago, I didn't know anything about this. And I remember yesterday we were talking about, with Brendan, we were talking about this, what we used to recommend, right? And it's like, you don't want to know. You don't want to know we were, recommending kibble, and we thought that was the best, or not changing the water every day, or things like, things that then you learn and you can look back. And then they're very simple things.
It's true. It's we learn every day. And I try and tell pet parents and guardians on a daily basis, do not feel guilty, because you've done the best you could with the knowledge you have. And that's why I think, Antonette, that's one of the reasons we do this, because we want to be educating our viewers and let them know how they can do better, because I think we can learn every day a little bit from everybody in terms of this. And it is so great to hear a different view on people's, on somebody like you that works in the industry, is what works, and where you see shifts. And I'm sure you've seen quite a shift globally over the last few years on how pet parents approach their cat's health.
Yeah.
That come out right now.
Yeah, and you will never stop learning things. One of the most difficult learnings I had from my cats was my tortoiseshell cat. She passed away 4 years ago, and she had kidney disease. She had also gum disease. Everything, it was. You could tell we knew that this was possible, and I did my best, and I did so many treatments, and in the end, I didn't have any control. And you're not, sometimes even with all the knowledge you can find the best, because I have colleagues around, I can ask around. It's not like it's all the weight on me. And so after that experience with this cat, I realized how alone a guardian must feel, not knowing what I know, not having the friends I have. And even then, I didn't have any control whatsoever. And what my cat actually wanted, I did an animal communication, that if you believe or not, it's up to everyone listening here. But she said, you can do any treatment you want, but I'm going to leave. And all I want is for you to be present with me. And she said, and I refused, because I noticed this one, every time I tried to do a treatment myself, she would be wild. But if I took her to a vet, to my friend's clinic, and she did things, I was like, how do you do this? I'm supposed to be the expert here. And she drives wild. It's difficult. It just becomes very aggressive. And she told me, she was like, I don't want you to treat me. You are here to be with me until I die. And if you want to do any other treatments, somebody else would have to do that. And once I did that, I hired a nurse to come home, to give the treatments, to do everything. And my job was to be with her until she died. And that was it. And it was such an experience that I was able to have, that every time I know people coming to me, because they come with very, very advanced illnesses, like not always I'm able to help them fully or recover, and they are like, oh, if I met you sooner. And I'm like, no, maybe this is the outcome. And you not feel guilty, because in all that process, you learn from your vet, what if you trust him or not, if you like the way he thinks, or the questions that you may have to ask in the future that you didn't know. And this is important. Don't feel guilty. All that journey was chosen by your cat as well. He chooses when he's going to leave, and there is nothing you can do with that. But you can enjoy every single moment. You can improve their life, their lifestyles in that moment, as you can improve yours, of course. And that is what is going to guarantee a long, happy life. I don't believe you can extend the life of a cat just by simply, of course, if you improve nutrition and do some supplements, but sometimes we overdo. And I believe that if you do your best and in general, you make some improvements and you work on yourself and you work with your cat and work in the relationship, nutrition, a bit of things, you don't have to overdo. And I'm sure your cat is going to have a beautiful long life in that case.
And there's another question, and it's an interesting one. So it is saying it's interesting about outdoor versus indoor. We are very lucky to have an enclosed garden, which the cats can roam during the day. When we are home. I know the outdoors can be very dangerous to free roaming cats, but I'd very much like to know more about what you meant with how the outdoors have a positive impact on them. Please, I've noticed some of this, but haven't been able to really understand it.
Okay. Outdoor cats, it depends on where you're at. I know different situations. I know people having a catio, which is an enclosed and a safe space, outdoor safe space, which is my favorite in the that I would tolerate, because that's another thing. How much are you willing to let your cat go? That's the first question you need to answer. Sometimes if you live in a finca or in a state that is big space, you will have cats just coming and going, and maybe you build a relationship with them, but it's different. They're free roaming cats, and you feed them, you have a relationship with them. Great, perfect. Those cats, better to be outdoors, and they're going to have happy lives, maybe shorter, but happier lives. And then if you have an indoor cat and suddenly you live in a place with a garden, or you have and you become accustomed to having them very closely to you, then how much would you tolerate of how much distance you would tolerate of, or how much freedom would you give your cats? If you answer that question, then you can decide what is the best option. A catio for me is the perfect one. It's close, it's safe, and they get the benefits of the outdoors. It get the benefits of certain areas that wildlife can be in danger as well. There are other ways to reduce the hunting, but if you think about that, then okay, catio is a very safe space. And then I have other clients that from the start, when they adopted kittens, we started working on a method of they go out during the day, but at 7 p.m. they always at home. And we taught them that with food, with some conditioning, positive conditioning. And the thing is that it works perfectly for them. They live in a small town in Spain, and they've been doing that for years. And cats, now they don't even have to ring the bell, because we did it with a bell. And they don't even have to ring the bell. They just come at 7 because it's food time. They don't have to be hunting. And they were worried that if they were left at night, that's when the dangers, the other cats coming, the fighting, the territorial problems that you may find. So it all has to be thought. You have to think it through. What I have? How much would I allow them to go? Do I want to have a GPS on them or not? What is it? What I want? What do you need, and what the cat needs? And then find a space in the middle where both are benefiting from it. That would be.
I think it's a great answer to a question. Antonette, does your cat has got certain times that it comes in, or is it pretty much come as she wants to?
She can come in and out as she chooses. Obviously, I monitor when I let the dogs out to when they need to go for a pee and things like that at night, because I don't want the cat and the dogs to bump into each other. But she can come and go, but she comes in the evenings, and then my husband spends time with her. So that's like their little bonding time, and she crawls all over him. And some of her brothers, and she's got a brother and a sister, they also around, but they never connected with the humans as much as what she did. So they will come in, they'll eat, and then they'll go again. Same with her in the morning. She'll go out, and then she'll come back in, and my husband will spend a little bit of time with her again, and she'll snuggle with him and whatnot. But so she's got a lot of freedom, but we are very mindful with the dogs around. The ridgebacks are high prey animals, so Retha, I think I was on the phone with you when we still had Kati, which was our previous. Also, she just moved in. She just moved in. And I was talking to Retha on the phone. And I have this thing I walk when I'm on the phone. And so I saw the scuffle, and Kara, our ridgeback, was in the bush. And the next thing I just see Kati flying out of the bush. And I'm like, I'm screaming. I've got Retha on the phone, and I've got these 3 bitches, Kara, Boudica, and Diva, and the cat. And that cat, she didn't back down for them.
No.
She was like, stood her ground. The dogs are like, oh, okay. But anyway, I managed to get her up in the tree and everything, and it was a major panic.
And then she was safe.
But, and she was safe. She was fine, and no dramas, or no one got hurt. But it is a bit of stress, and so we have to manage that. So we make sure outside time is we check the perimeter first, make sure that there's no cats close by, because that's the last thing I want to see.
Exactly.
And it's nature,
It is. So if you understand that it's nature, and you cannot ask your ridgebacks to stop being hunters, right? Or hunting the cat. Maybe the cat is acting like a prey in a certain moment, and the dogs get excited for it.
Yes.
And there's no malice out of that. It's simply their nature. So there are ways to reduce that. Actually, I have friends that magically do it. So simply, they have loads of animals in their estate, and then suddenly they all get along together, right? Like they didn't do anything, and suddenly she has different animals, even rabbits and cats, and you were like, okay, that works somehow. So they understand each other. You just need to think about what you need, because you build a relationship with them, and sometimes it's very difficult, and then. Let them, because they know, they communicate.
I have friends, they have ridgebacks, and they've introduced cats.
Yeah.
But
maybe
it's interesting that one family who wanted to adopt a ridgeback. Sorry, can you?
I was again. Yeah, there's a bit of delay, right?
Yeah. No, the sound travels very slowly from South Africa
to Mallorca.
So you were saying that there was someone adopting a ridgeback, and
yes, and they said that if the cat and the dogs are inside the house, they're fine with each other. They accept each other, no issues. But as soon as the dogs are outside and the cat is outside, then the rules change. And I think it's the movement of the cat. It's, their fast movement, prey-like movement, and that triggers the dogs. And if the dogs are, if they're 3 or 4 together or 2 together rather than the one, that also plays a role. Yes. They behave differently than if it's just the one. So, we have to manage it.
My neighbors has got 22 dogs and 2 cats. Okay,
that's a difference.
Spinonis and Bassets. So it's okay, and the cats are free roaming.
And the cat?
Okay. And the cats are free roaming, and the cats will come down the stairs. Mia, who I think is 18 years old, will come down the stairs, and she puts those Bassets and the Spinonis in their place. They must not circle with her. Oscar, it's a 3-legged cat. He has got a little foot, but it's not. We suspect he was a rescue, and we suspect that the leg was born like this, but he's got no movement on his leg. Oscar plays with the puppies when they have got puppies. Since he is so curious about the puppies once they're born, he comes and look, and when the mom is, he's allowed there because he's part of it. I mean, he sits with them while whelping, and he is so part of this little family. And you must see how he plays with the puppies. Sometimes these Bassets, I mean, when they're getting bigger and they're like, he's 2 kilograms because he's tiny, and this 4-kilogram puppy, and they play with him like crazy. And he puts them in his place, but he also knows very well how to disappear when it's getting a little bit heated there. So I always think that's the most amazing, harmonious lifestyle that a cat and 22 dogs can have. But
Yes.
I mean, that does not happen for everybody.
No.
And I think you need to be, as guardians, you need to be very secure in yourself and your emotions in order to be able to portray that harmonious lifestyle for your cat. So from that perspective is I take my hat off with people that has got Ridgebacks or any other dogs that lives in harmony with cats. And there's many stories like that. I've got many clients that has got that harmony. So it can be done.
It can, yeah, sure.
It totally can be done. But this brings me to another question, because I'm burning to talk about nutrition and cats and a raw diet, because I think this is my biggest I don't know, my biggest challenge on a daily basis is how to change cats to a raw diet. And trying to make cat parents understand that if you get a kitten, you need to give it variety from day one to establish a non-fussy eating habit. So please enlighten us about cats and nutrition. And
well, I don't want to give it all away, because this is one of the topics of our conference.
Okay, so for those cat parents that's watching that hasn't been booked yet, you need to book for the African Pet House Summit, because Amaya is going to
I'm going to detail things that I'm not going to say today.
So just briefly, okay?
Yeah.
What can a cat parent do when they're sitting with a fussy eater?
Well, first is behavior. I go back to behavior, because a cat is only willingly to change food if they feel safe. If they don't feel safe, they're not going to change foods. They're going to hate if you change the couch from one place to the other. They don't going to like anything you do, because we don't like change. Nobody likes change. So we have to stop using words as neophobic and or using words as complicated, difficult. If you have that mindset, forget about it. You're gonna get it wrong from the start. So first of all, try to analyze the cat and where is he eating. The type of bowl that you're using, is the whiskers allowed to be free and not touching the borders of the bowl. The materials, are those smelly materials that you're using? Is the space where they are being fed relaxed? If you have dogs, do they have a separate space? Or if they feel like a gang, maybe they all want to eat together. You don't know. There is no specific way. You need to do a full analysis of what is your environment and how to make that cat to feel safe. And safety can come from many ways. Their past history, what they how they see life, what they've been fed before, because kibble is addictive, and there are foods that are emotional foods as well. We all have emotional foods, don't we? Like you like to eat chocolate at a certain point in the day. The same mechanisms are the same in all animals, because these are neurological connections, and how the gut is associated with the brain, and there are many things involved here. So if you understand where your starting point is, you're going to design your own transition. It's not going to be the same. And when I see many steps of how you transition your cat, they're all okay. They're all good. So if you look at in any place, how do I transition my cat? Any blog, all those steps are going to be fine. You just need to see how I adjust this to a cat that maybe is afraid, or maybe has a wrong dynamic with another cat, or I get too worried, or the bowls I have are not the correct ones. And sometimes, actually, we had this conversation also yesterday about stainless steel plates. My cat doesn't like them, for example, because they are the safest ones. They are the ones that least contamination will have. but my cat hates it. So I'm going to still feed them into those plates because those are the safest ones. This is what you need to understand. How do I apply everything I read into my environment? And that is the true transition. And then you have to understand the times, how fast can I do these changes? Because usually, we tend to change when they are already sick, or they are old, or there is an issue of any kind. So, if you can start with their kittens and not worry about, oh no, kittens are so weak. Actually, kittens there are developing their immune system. And if they're apt to a vaccination, they are apt to be fed raw. Okay? Because when you are vaccinating, you are simulating a disease, and the cats will, build up their immune system. If you feed good food and of course you have to be hygienic enough, right? But if you start building their barriers, their guts with good food, those cats are going to be indestructible. They're going to be well built, and behavior as well. It will affect, because I've seen a video. I used to work with a cattery of it was Siberian cats, and she showed me a video where she, instead of feeding the kittens, she will give a rat, a full rat, or it wasn't a rat, it was a 1-day chick. She gave the chick to the mother, and the mother fed the kittens. So she allowed that to happen. And you had to see those small rats. They were the same size as the prey, and they were like learning how to do it. It was fascinating to see that. And she produced like very healthy litters, and then she didn't have any problems whatsoever. And this is what you need to understand, is stop being afraid of things, and get, find a way to adjust what you see or what you read into your life.
So I very often get that. So I've got a lot of cat breeders that feed possum raw as the food that they raise their kittens on, and they've got their adult cats on, and it goes well, no problem. Then they move to the new house, and about a month, 2 months later, I get the phone call. Our kitten does not want, is refusing to eat. So from my perspective, it's very difficult to say to them, change your environment because you're the cause. But that is basically
it's basically
you need to change what you're doing, because this kitten grew up on this food.
Exactly.
And they were happy with it in that environment. So you need to look at your environment. So you need, Amaya, you need to give me the perfect wording to tell.
Okay. Well, what I say, because I had this, what I say is there's been a huge change in the kitten's life. So when that person bought the cat, it's not just the new environment. For that cat, it's a grieving period. It's not going to have its family, its mother, its brothers and sisters, anyone, anything of the environment. And suddenly they're going to be alone with new people. And maybe they are doing the best they can, but that is not, it's new. So instead of trying to, if you can continue just not overthinking it, because sometimes we do overthink it, and every single time we put the bowl and we're just watching and hovering around, see if the cat is going to eat it or not, right? That is something, if you do it, stop. If you put the food and you continue with the routine as similar as possible as where they were doing in the cattery, that will help. If their feeding times were the same, just try to improve that experience and make it as similar as possible. Of course, there's not going to be other cats or anything else, but you need to make it feel like it's similar to it. And if it doesn't work, take a step back. Just don't go to kibble. Yeah, but you can use toppers. You can use taste enhancers, like brewer's yeast. You can use. You can find ways to play with your cat before you find a new routine in between. And while you're doing that, give them some things to enjoy that probably they haven't enjoyed in the past, such as it can be bone broth sometimes, but other times you need to use some canned food. Okay, use some canned food, but don't panic and go back to canned food or try kibble, because it's your energy. It's your energy of he's not eating, right? Yeah, relax and just think about what you would do, because many of these things happen to us when you go to another country and you have to adjust to a different food. I love going to another country and still drink mate that is Argentinian. And one of the first things I looked in the UK is where I can buy some mates to continue my routine. So it's the same thing. If I need to continue with something that it's integrated in me, then I will do it. And then I'll eat the Sunday's roast and porridge, maybe. I don't know. Just thinking of what foods I may eat in the UK. But you need that small taste of home. And this is what, sometimes it's something you can replicate, and sometimes it has to be a tastier food. But don't panic. Don't go searching for the best food and go crazy. No, it's all about it's all about the brain and the emotions and how they build up. And I'm not going to say anything else about that. Otherwise
you're giving it all away. So it has comment again. So it has got Maine Coons, and she's been a client for a very long time. And I think she's a big advocate for raw and cats, especially under the Maine Coon community. And she's been just saying it's very true. The environment plays such a big role. I also saw a recent post from the raw fed feline about how kittens have a teenage phase and will start pushing boundaries and refuse food to see if they'll be fed their favorite food this way. And yeah, that is a very interesting one, because I think dogs do it as well.
I'm not really sure if I would say that they have a teenage phase. I do believe they have a moment that they are pushing boundaries, but I don't see them doing at a certain age. My cats are pushing boundaries all the time.
It's just to remind us, listen, I am in control. You're not the owner of me. I'm the owner of you, type of thing.
For example, it happens to me when I'm doing, for example, I don't know, I defrost too much beef and they get tired of beef. And they go like, again, you can see them like, and I just go like, guys, that is all what is defrost. Sorry, there is no menu here. So like my mother used to do, you just, this is the food. What is it? What do we have for dinner? Food. So that was quite effective.
That's true.
They didn't ask it. No, what do you want to eat, darling? No, nobody asked that. And it kind of works with cats as well. But I know they're and thankfully they like the beef, because that happened recently. I just finished the beef, and otherwise I would have the Maine Coon screaming around here if she didn't like the food, and she was like, meow. Yeah, She got her second name Joplin for a reason. So you can tell. You see.
Listen, we are running towards the end, and I want to be naughty and just ask, tell us about when you worked at the cat sanctuary. It was at the sanctuary, hey? And what you found with new. I mean, you told the story about the kittens that came in. Please share that with the listeners, because for me, that's one of the most heartfelt goosebump stories that I've ever heard.
Well, I worked in this cat shelter for 7 years, and we gave cats in adoption. So we had around 30 cats every time, but we had some of them in adaptation rooms until they get integrated in the colony, I would say. And people visited, so it was crowded, and they needed some adjustments, the adoptions. They needed to be friendly in order to be adopted in the future. And the thing is that we had to do a lot of things there, because every single time we went to the big shelters, city pounds, we brought, I don't know, 5 to 8 cats, and we have them all in the adaptation rooms. And you start focusing about, okay, vaccinations, dewormings, you have to do this, and you can see the energy, right? So suddenly you need to grab the cat and vaccinate and do everything fast. And that's a mess. That is crazy. And the intensity of the situation, the cats are scared, everything goes wrong. And if you continue doing that, you're probably going to have reactions to vaccines, problems of any sort, skin issues, anything, because they are scared and they are going to be reactive, and they probably weren't fed well. So there are many things going wrong at that time. And one day there were 2 cats that were very, very afraid. They were 2 sisters, and they were really afraid. So difficult. We had to take one of them to neuter, to spay, and then and the other one had to remain in that space, and she was terrified. And I came in with my energy, and the cat simply ran away, and I saw it so clearly, and I was like, okay, what do I do now? So I sat down, and a way I have to relax is to sing. I never thought about the effect this would have on the cats, but I knew that it will chill. I'll be more relaxed, and because singing is about breathing, and if you start doing that, then you'll relax. Your nervous system will calm down. So I did, and there is one particular song. It's a Argentinian folk song that has it talks about how we need to appreciate nature because we have sometimes moved to bigger cities to explore a life in the big cities and opportunities and stuff, but we suddenly don't realize that we are missing so much from nature and from the small towns and the people. And it's a beautiful song that I always had, and I started singing it. And the cat, you can see the video on my Facebook, my Instagram page, Velvet for Cats. You'll see that, the cat starts walking around me, and she started connecting. And suddenly I did everything I had to do. I vaccinated, I did everything. And I understood that my energy was having an impact. And later on, many years after that, I decided to take a step further into this and created the lullabies for cats, which are not designed just to be listened. For that, we have the amazing work of David Tay with the music for cats. These are designed to be sung and to create this relaxing communication with your cats. And yeah, basically. That is the story.
Sure. Just one verse of the song, and then we can say goodbye. Really, thank you so much. We're going to end with that, if you don't mind. Thank you for your time. I know it is precious time. You're a hardworking lady. We really, really appreciate you being here and sharing your time with us. And once again, Punt for African Pet Health. If you really want to deep dive, come and meet Amaya in person. Book your tickets. Tickets are flying off the shelf. Do yourself a favor. You will not be sorry. So thank you, Amaya. Really appreciate it. But you're going to end for us with a little verse of your song.
Okay, I'll do the first part until the chorus, and then we'll close it there. It starts like this. Sentado solo en un banco en la ciudad, con tu mirada recordando el litoral. Tu suerte quiso estar divertida, mitad verdad, mitad mentira, como esperanza de los pobres prometida. Andando solo bajo la llovizna gris, fingiendo duro que tu vida fue de aquí, porque cambiaste un mar de gente por donde gobierna la flor. Mira que el río nunca regaló el color. Carito, suelta tu pena, se haga diamante tu lágrima entre mis cuerdas. Carito, suelta tu piedra para volar sobre el zorzal en primavera.
Thank you. Thank you. This is goosebumps. I hope everybody's had a wonderful week. Antonette, tell us about next week's guest.
Yes. Thank you for inviting me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
And I can't wait for September.
It's lovely to meet you.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, we're so looking forward to meeting you with no delays.
Yeah. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amaya. Thank you.
See you next week. And our guest next week, Antonette?
Dr. Nick.
Yes.